Sober Gang Experience Podcast, the show where we delve into the complex world of addiction and recovery. I'm your host. I'm here to provide you with knowledge, support, and a listening ear as we navigate in this journey together. Because in this podcast, we will explore the various facets of addiction, including its causes and effects. We strive to bring you insightful interviews from experts, personal stories of triumph and redemption as we navigate this world of addiction together. So welcome everybody to another great show. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to continue to create something special and helping everybody out in addiction, one episode at a time. Are y'all ready for it? Let's get it. This is a happy 4th of July to everybody out there. Independence Day. Hope everybody is doing great. The day of our God is Independence Day and everybody is celebrating. But you know, we want to celebrate in our own way. I got a very special broadcast today with you guys. I got a lot of people in the building today. We're going to share our insight about addiction in the world, in America, everybody, with my panel of guest speakers. I hope y'all will stick around and enjoy this broadcast. Let's go with it. Let's get it. I'm gonna let my people in. Let me let my people in. What's going on, everybody?
Chilling.
Man, happy 4th of July to everybody out there. I hope everybody is doing great. Everybody is enjoying themselves. I don't know what's going on with Miss Jennifer camera thing. But we're gonna continue, everybody. How everybody doing today?
Wonderful.
Mr. Richie, man, my God. We got the musician in the building, everybody. This man is dope, y'all. Y'all need to go check him out on Spotify. Richie Valor is in the building. He is my my day one, man. We ran up some numbers on YouTube. Our first interview, man. We ran them numbers up. And yeah, that's what we gonna do, man. We're gonna continue, man, to do what we do. And I got a couple questions, you all. Anyone of y'all just got anything y'all want to add today? Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's it going, Daniel?
Man, it's going great, man. It's been a busy day. Been up since.
I know, man. That's why I said I wanted to jump in and get this broadcast started a little early. You know, I know everybody got some things to do and everything like that. So we're going to try to get it going. Yes. For some reason, I don't know why I can't get Miss Jennifer theme tag. Can you hear me now, Jennifer?
Can you hear me? I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Welcome back to the show. I got a couple questions, man. We're going to just dive right into it like we do, everybody. We're going to dive right into it, man. We're going to start at. What are some of the most common types of addiction prevalent in America today as we look at it? What are some of the most common prevalent addictions, like the opioid addiction, anything like that? Y'all got anything y'all want to say on that one?
Amphetamines and downers.
Fentanyl.
That fentanyl.
Yeah, I've just had to bury a couple people recently.
Same.
Yeah, that fentanyl is really widespread. You know, a lot of addicts they prefer that. And I was asking a couple of people, man, I'm like, is it cheaper? You know what I mean, Richie? And then I ain't know. I was asking a lot of people, was it cheaper than meth? And they was like, yeah, it's cheaper, and it gets you, you know, it gets you there real hard. So
It's not even that, man. It's not the fact that it's cheaper. It's cheaper for these drug dealers, and they're putting it in these drugs. I'm not saying it's a good thing to do drugs, but when someone's trying to buy something, there's fentanyl in it, and they're automatically dying. Like they don't know it's in there. It's crazy.
right. And they say that stuff is so stronger, man. When you hit that, that's taking people out the game, man. Real fast. Real fast.
Well, and I think what people don't understand is there's two different categories of fentanyl. I'm going to play nurse here. Well, not play, but I'm going to be nurse here for a second. So regular fentanyl can be reversed by medication. Carfentanil cannot. Carfentanil is the second one. Now, carfentanil compared to fentanyl is there's no comparison. Carfentanil will kill you instantly. It cannot be reversed by anything. Absolutely nothing. And one little tiny sprinkle of carfentanil will drop me. And like I said, it can't be reversed. So that's another thing that's coming up from Mexico that's really, really popular. Mm-hmm. And they're mixing them together.
Mm. I know you see a lot of people coming through there just ODing. You know what I'm saying? How's the look when the people come in and they have to hit them with them Narcans to bring them back, you know?
Well, that's just it. If there's any carfentanil in their system at all, the Narcan doesn't work.
You know, it's crazy. A lot of these people, they get hit with the Narcan and they get mad. They're like, you just took me out of my high. It's nutty to see these guys in their full addiction.
Yeah, I seen that one time before. I heard somebody talking about that on the show I was watching. Man, he actually got mad. He was like, damn, shit, I was enjoying that high. I said, but the shit we go through to get high, boy, it is amazing. It amazes.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it going. How can individuals and communities work together to address addiction crisis in America?
I mean, we can be strong for the addicts, but like the term says, you can walk a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can't force anybody to stop. You can put anybody in rehab. You can put anybody in jail, but until someone's truly ready to be done, they're done. So, I mean, if anything, we can just be an ear and a shoulder for these guys, because at the end of the day, they're just looking for some solace, and they take their vice, or they take everything and they put it into the drugs. So the more therapy that we have and the more open ears and the more shoulders that we have, it's the better. We can't force these guys to do it, because the more you force, the more that they're going to want to do it.
Exactly right. You said the word right, man. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't force a horse to drink the water, man, but you can lead them to it, but you can't force them. You know, in addiction, you know, a lot of time, half the time, you got to be up to you. You know, a lot of times you got to want to do it for yourself, because if you don't want to do it for yourself, if you ain't up to it, it ain't going to work. I don't care how many treatment facilities you go to. You know, I know a lot of people don't went to 18, 20 facilities, and it don't work because they are not in there to get right. They are just in there because they court appointed or trying to get their kids back, or some kind of scheme that they're trying to work. But that shit don't work unless you want to work on it on yourself. Anybody else got anything to say on that one?
You know, that's funny because I just went to a women's inpatient facility and I spoke to them on Friday night about that very subject. You know, and I said, you know, if somebody thinks I'm being out of line, call me out. But I told them, if you're not here to work hard and get your things done, and if you're just here to like fuck around, then give the seat to somebody who's knocking on the door for help. You know,
like I used to always, yeah, you can.
My sponsor said, "Oh, that's a little harsh." I said, "It's harsh, but it's reality." The first time I went to treatment, I was like calling them like 5, 6, 7 times a day, like, "When can I come? When can I come?" And they're letting all these people in before you that are just doing it to get off a sentence or to just go back out and use right away again. Like they don't want recovery. And there's people dying because of it.
Yeah, this is a big crisis that we got going on. But, you know, the only thing that really matters is like it's up to us, man. You know, the government and everybody makes so much money off this shit coming in and out, man. We know how the game is, but it ain't no way we can stop this shit. Ain't no way we can stop this shit. You know what I mean? So basically, the only thing we can do is just try to stop each other. You know, stop ourselves from getting wrapped into that shit. So what's one thing I used to always say: when you take the panties off them drugs, it's a wrap, y'all. It'll wrap you in that world of addiction, man. And sometimes it's hard to get up out of it. I got another question I would like to ask you guys. What role can technology play in preventing, treatment, and recovery from addiction?
Facebook. I mean, wherever you go, people think that they can go anywhere and get away from it, but really they can't, because there's Facebook, there's TikTok, and people are going to find each other. Where the drug is where that person's going to be, and it broad specs anyway, because you find it anywhere. Social media.
I think what you're doing right now, man, is all we can do. You know, I mean,
Right.
unless we're inventing, unless we have something to do, like hands-on, unless we can build something. I think what you're doing right now, what we're doing right now, is the best that we can do, other than outreach. You know, other than hitting the streets. I think us getting that voice out, you know, communicating with people, posting these videos, sharing these videos. I think we are doing our part, man. And I don't know, man. That's a serious situation right there.
Yeah, I go to these shows and I talk to people about it. You know, some people aren't having it, but there's other people that come up to me and they're like, "Man, I need help. Like, I don't know how to do it." I have performers, I got comedians, I got so many people that hit my line after I do shows and they're like, "Man, how did you do it?" That's the number one question. And that's another way that technology can help, because, you know, I can't travel to Colorado on whim. I can't go out to California, but I know that Facebook, and I know that people that know who I am, they hit me up, and the number one question is how. And it's sad.
Yeah.
That's a good point, man.
What are some promising approaches or interventions being used to combat addiction? Is there anything that they're doing to combat it? Or it's pretty
don't
much
be forceful.
Yeah.
That
What
tough
you think
love,
about that?
man. That whole tough love, man.
Yep.
I mean, you got to be firm. You know what I mean? Like, I understand codependency. I understand that single mom out there who might have a 16, 15-year-old kid, you know, just running wild. But you have to be firm. And if you don't know how to be firm, educate yourself. When I used to be a life coach at a treatment center, and these kids would come and tell me that their parents got a hold of some organization or rehab or something. And they have these things called goons. And what these goons would do is, this is the first time I've heard about that when I was at the treatment center, right? So there'd be these guys, I don't know, ex-military, ex-law enforcement, whatever. It'd be a couple guys, nice little crew, right? Go in the house, wake up the kid like at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Say, "You're coming with us. If you fight back, we will restrain you." So that's another form of tough love. You know, if the kid is under 18, that is an option right there. I have no experience with that, but
I do.
okay. Man, I want to hear more about that, man. I was looking to get in contact with some of the kids at the treatment center. They're over 18 now, but
man,
yeah,
that's the craziest experience I probably ever had. Look, I was sleeping, and I had to go to a rehabilitation center. Well, I skipped it, and my parents through the court systems had those goons. They didn't call them goons back then, but they came in. They're like clinicians, and they came in. They're like, "Yo, you're coming with me," and you're groggy at first, and you don't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden you're in a car, and you're like, "Yo, what the F, dude?" And then you end up at the treatment center, and you're either in a room that's locked, and they make you do all this paperwork and fill out your goals and stuff. And at first you're just like, "Man, I ain't having this shit." And if you act up, man, they will restrain you.
Wow. And what restraint? What you mean?
Well, they
Explain
will
to
put
me
you
when you
on
say
your ass.
restrain. Yeah. How would they, restrain them?
I mean, there's two ways.
Yeah.
They'll grab you by your arm, they'll put you behind your back, and if you're really wilding out at the center, they will put something in your butt cheek and make you calm down quickly and in a hurry.
Thorazine.
Yeah. Do the Thorazine shuffle on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, we got a registered nurse in the building. You know, she be talking. Look, yeah, I want to smile now. But yeah, I also got another one, man, y'all. What roles does peer pressure play in addiction amongst young people?
Everything. It's people, places, and things.
Thank you. Yes.
I actually just wrote a
I
song about it.
I said we got the musician in the building, Richie, man. I hope you got the guitar with you, man. Hey,
Oh
y'all,
man.
his
Oh my.
music,
I
his
always
music,
have my guitar.
his music is really dope, y'all. I'm talking about. My kids like it. You know, these days kids really, if a child or a teenager will let you know if your music's shit.
Yeah,
But
they
they be
will.
like, Dad, they be like,
In
he
a
be on
hot
your show.
minute.
They be like, he be on your show. I said, yeah. They be like, they think Richard Valor like really like he done got mainstream. I said, baby, I said he working, and he almost there.
I got
He
signed.
yeah, I said he got one foot in the door. He go shove that other foot in that motherfucker.
I actually just got to open up for I mean it's ICP, but Psychopathic Records,
Right.
and there was like 800 people in the building. It was nutty, but I still gave my message. I like, people were like asking me about like what I do, how I do it, and I was like,
Yes.
and I'm just like, man, yeah, there you go. There you go. I got to open up for Violent J, Ouija Mac, and Esham, and I'm about to go open up for Shaggy 2 Dope in September in Kentucky.
You
But
doing it, man. You doing it,
trying.
man. You doing it,
But
bro.
that's the first thing I tell them: stay sober. It's the greatest fucking thing in life.
I know, man. I remember our first interview me and you had, man, when me and you were just jumping in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now look where we at. We both, we both doing our thing, man. And I continue to follow your journey, man. And boy, like I said, man, you got one foot in, and you keep on grinding the way you grinding, man. Richie, the sky's the limit, brother.
It's really hard because, you know, the mainstream platform is all about doing lean and drugs and jewelry and fucking and stuff like that. And then when someone hears my message, at first they're kind of put off by it. But what I try to do is put a mainstream vibe of flow and music behind the good message. And then they catch on pretty quick. They're like, "Oh, okay, you're like a sober rapper," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a sober rapper. I talk about life, you know." And some people don't have it, but you know what? They can kick rocks because I'm not gonna be doing any of the drugs, and I don't care what people think. A lot of the times with these drug addicts, they have been hurt by their family or they've been abandoned, so all they really know is the drug they think is going to help them, and the people around it are the people that are going to be there for them. But really, the people that are there for them are just trying to get a piece of the pie of drugs. And I don't care about all that anymore. I don't care what people think. I care about what I think and what my life is.
Exactly, man, because you can't be living behind the shadows of nobody else. You just got to be focused on yourself. And I see you doing exactly that.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you focus on yourself, man, and not worrying about what people think or worrying about how they look at you, man. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do right there, Richard. For sure, for sure. What efforts are being made to prevent addiction and promote education about the risk?
Not
Jail.
That's it. They know they got somewhere to put you, ain't they? That'll sober you up real fast sometimes, though, man.
Some people need it.
Yeah, you for real. I was talking to this one person the other day, and I was like, sometimes a person can go to jail and actually sober up. Actually get right. You know what I'm saying? It really it's up to them to what they go do when they get out. But when they stay in there, you know what I mean? They can sober up, think about shit, reflect on life and everything like that. So I'm gonna ask the registered nurse, what prevention programs or anything like that they're trying to do? Do you know in your city?
Not enough.
That's
Right now in my county, actually, they just changed it at the county jail. So they just changed it finally. So if you're coming in, even if it's your first offense, so for drugs or alcohol, if you're coming in for a DUI or you got caught with whatever, we don't have a paraphernalia law as of August 1st. So that won't be an issue, I guess. But other things, they find dope on your person, they find whatever. They are actually making it part, just in my county, as far as I know, making it a part of where they go after jail and how fast they get out. They have to go to 30 meetings.
That's aftercare.
So automatically, no matter how many days they're automatically 30 meetings. They have to do Zoom meetings, or I actually just got hired at my local jail to do 2 meetings a week. Go to the male side and do a meeting, and then you flip over and go to the female side and do a meeting.
They do it everywhere now.
But if they don't go, they don't leave.
Yeah, they
don't even get to go to treatment here if they don't go to the meetings first.
Yeah, they did that. I did 3 years in prison, and I went in and I was like, oh, man, I just need help. And they actually do a program implementation. They make you do a drug program while you're in there, and if you don't do your drug program, you can't get out, and you get a hit. And when you get a hit, you get like more years added to your time. And then when you get out, you have to implement programming again. So like, I was out on the road doing Zoom meetings during the COVID thing, and I was having to do like assault and battery classes. I was having to do drug classes, and if you don't do them, you don't get off parole. Like it's
right. For prison, that's true in my state as well, but not for county jail. They just let you sit and like chill out. But now it's actually in our county because our county is huge. We have a huge heroin epidemic.
Where are you from?
I'm in Minnesota, and I'm close to a reservation. So
okay,
we have a lot of heroin, and we have a lot of methamphetamines, and everything's being crisscrossed with fentanyl, of course. And then we just have straight fentanyl. But so pretty much everyone in our jail, even currently, I just checked it, I think there's 42 people. And I think 2 of them are not drug or alcohol related.
Wow. It get deep out here, man. But one thing we can do, like you said, is try to talk to like one thing I always tell somebody, you know what I mean? They'd be like, how do you do it? How do you maintain your sobriety? How do you, I just put one foot in front of the next, you know what I'm saying? I get up, I put my pants on just like everybody else, you know what I mean? And one thing I do, I just try to stay focused. It is very easy to lose focus on what's going on. It could be a lot of shit, because a lot of shit through in the day, during the week, working. I know Richie do music. I know he have a lot of temptations doing shows. People asking him to hit this bump or hit this. And I know you gotta stay strong, brother. So
it's easy if you don't tell them that so people come up to me with a blunt, or they'll come up to me with something, and I'll be like, no, I don't do that before my set. And they'll be like, oh, okay. They leave me alone, because then they respect it. They're like, oh, he doesn't want to smoke before his set. And then I avoid them. So after my set, I see them. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to VIP. So like, I'll run off. I'll go to VIP, dip off, and just watch them. And I'm like, oh, well, So it's easier just to deflect the situation than really break it down to them, because then they'll be like, oh, well, then they try to give you excuses in the book. And I'm not there for excuses. I'm there to do a show, give my message, and bounce.
Right. Get them coins in the process. Get that bag.
I'm just the opposite. I will tell you exactly what I think. And I will tell you, like, I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear. Like, and if you repeatedly ask me or try to get me to do something, like, I'm going to snap out. And I usually do. Like, look, I told you this is not my thing. Like, especially if it's like if it's my event, or they're at my house or something like that. Like I've told Boosie before, like, I have checked people's pockets before they come into my house. And I don't give a shit, because it's my space, and you're not bringing stupid shit in my house.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, because
it's hard as a performer, because you got to be tender towards everybody. I mean, the point of the show is to be able to captivate. And if I go and then try to snap out on somebody, they're gonna be like, man, F this dude. And it sucks, because then, like, going to these juggalo shows and doing all these types of things, man, if one person don't like you, it's family, then they all don't. So I just give them the perspective of like, bro, I'm sober. or I don't do this before the show. And normally 9 times out of 10, they don't push. I've had some people push, but they're drunk and then they forget after the show. So, but I dig what you're saying. And I respect that. I respect that completely, checking people's pockets, because if it's there, it's there.
Yeah. And if, like you said, if it's there, it's very easily to get manipulated or just had that added peer pressure on top of your back to want to do it. You know,
So
yeah.
I had a thing happen on Friday night. My sponsor and I were leaving. She was picking me up. We got in the car. She was making a phone call quick. And I live in an apartment building, and I look and I see this guy, just like random dude, walking across onto our like property. And I'm just like looking at him, whatever. I'm also the manager at my apartment, so I'm kind of checking it out, right? New face, whatever. I don't live in the best area. And he went in front of us, like new car was on, like whatever. Went right over to a bush right by the door, lifted up a thing, and like took out a big bag of dope. I was like,
Oh,
are
really?
you serious? Like, he looked right at me, like, then he turned around and like walked back the opposite way. I was like,
Dylan.
dude. So then, of course, my addict brain is like, ooh, when I get home, I got to check that spot. That was the first thing. When I get home, I have to check that spot. But I didn't, because that's when I was going to a treatment center to talk to the women. And, you know, that kind of stuff, they need to hear that kind of stuff, because it happens no matter how long you have. You can have 10 years, you can have 4 minutes, you can have 4 years. It doesn't matter. It's always going, like, something's always going to happen where you see it, or somebody's talking about it, or whatever. And that was my immediate thing. Like, oh, I got to check it when I get home. But then I said it out loud to the women, like, I really wanted to go check that spot. And I think it's important that a lot of people, I've noticed when they speak, they think like, oh, I have 3 years or I have 4 years and I'm going to tell them this and tell them that. Tell them what's real. Like, It doesn't go away. You're still going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And my initial thing was, ooh, what's there? But after verbalizing it and saying it out loud, it's not something that I did.
I know I was talking about, last week when I did that the interview with Brianna Levy. And I haven't been able to reach out to her lately, so I'm kind of getting worried. I wanted her to be on the show, but she was telling me she had went over a friend's house, when she relapsed, and like I said last week, her friend told her not to go in the cupboard. Do not look in the cupboard. And she said, I said, so what you do? She said, I did exactly that. When she looked inside the cupboard, she see all the drugs were there. And I said, what you do? She said she went right in at them. And I said, it's hard, man, when you got peer pressure and things like that. And especially, you got to be strong-minded, because even the people that's strong-minded are weak. You just, it's just, sometimes it's hard. You know what I mean?
That's why people, places, and things are huge.
Exactly.
Because, like I said last week, like, I'm not going to be around people who are doing any of that. And if someone brings you to their house knowing that you're on this sober journey and specifically tells you where the drugs are at, that is not your friend. I don't give a crap. It's not.
And also, what I've learned from going to meetings and whatnot, it's sad to say, but relapse is part of the recovery process. It's a learning thing for humans, I guess. And it's also a lesson for learning people, places, and things. But they say that relapse is part of the recovery process. I haven't had to go through it. I mean, I've had a lot of people in my life that don't like me. Boosie could tell you, like, people be like, Richie Baller's getting high, or Richie Baller's doing drugs. I'm like, brother, you don't know me. Like, all right. But I can say that relapse is part of the recovery process. So anybody that's listening right now, don't be down on yourself. And if you do relapse, man, it's not the end of the world. You can still pick yourself back up, because tomorrow is another day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Richie, I'm reflecting on what Richie's saying. You know, me and him was doing numbers in this internet, you know, in the interview games, and we were running them up. I was doing interviews with him, and one guy just after blue go messaged me like, "Stop messing with Richie. He ain't true to the recovery. He don't need to be on your show." I got on that man ass, man. Don't come at my boy like that. No, man, this ain't what it is. And I said, if he is having any problems, he's human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It ain't for you to be bashing, it ain't for me to go bash him. You know, I can reach out to him. I think I blocked him like forever on my YouTube shit. You know, you could ban a motherfucker, man.
Yeah, he did a whole week, 2 weeks of doing videos about me and did a song about me. It was trash, but he did this whole thing trying to get people to stop following me and all this. And it was all because I forget what I had said to him. He had said some really crazy shit to me, and I was like, bro, I'm not with that. And then he went and told people that I wrote a song with him while getting drunk with him on Facebook. And I was like, man, show me. Like, let me see that. And it's crazy, the demons that are out here that'll try to bring you down. You can't give them the time.
Yeah, because he was doing a whole campaign to try to smear, you know, put some dirt on your name. That's what he was doing. He was trying to mess up what you had going. That's what he was doing.
And now he's friends with my ex-fiance. So that girl and I that were supposed to get married, we broke up.
Mm-hmm.
And now she started doing some TikToks with him, trying to talk about I'm doing pills and stuff. I'm like, first off, when I was in my active addiction, I was not doing pills. I was not doing downers. I was like, now, if you would have been like, Richie's doing meth, that would have been a better story. That would have been
Right.
like, okay, that's believable. But
Right.
it's crazy. You know, people will try to bring you down if they see that you're happy and that you're doing your thing.
And you know, with my journey, Richie, I think Miss Sober, Miss Jen, you know, I think she kind of know this too, and Miss Jennifer know this. She having a storm in her city. I think that's why she keep jumping in and out. But in my journey, in my story whatsoever, you know, a lot of my tension was coming from the people that actually loved me. You know what I mean? A lot of, and Richie know this. I talked to Richie about this a lot. I couldn't understand why the people that love me were actually my family members. Was the ones that kind of throwing shade on what I was trying to do. They thought I was doing this for fame or trying to get famous. Man, look, only thing you need is a damn email to create a goddamn YouTube account. You know what I mean? Like none of this shit is easy. You can do it. A kid can do it. What I'm very interested in and my motivation is just to have these conversations. That's what I love to do. And one thing about it, I think some of my family members kind of seen the trajectory. They kind of seen where I was going with this. And it was kind of scaring them like, well, he might got something on his hands. You know, he might do something. So, but, you know, I had to block all that out. I had them conversations with Richie, and we just moved past all that. So, yeah. Let me get to the other question. How does addiction intersect with mental health issues in the United States?
Oh, man. So meth, it has this chemical compound that when it hits your brain, you change it to another type of person. So it intersects with your mental abilities and mental things. Dude, it took me 2 years in prison to be able to get back to the way I normally acted and responded to life situations. And I could see it. Like when I was coming off of that stuff, I watched my mental get better. And it literally took 2 years. So while people are in their active addiction, they change. The normal person that's robbing you because they're on heroin isn't going to rob you because when they're sober, and they're not going to talk the same. They're not going to do anything the same when they're off of the drugs as opposed to when they are on the drugs. So the chemical compound really does intersect with your mental because you have these synaptic gaps and you also have receptors and they're trying to reach out and they're trying to grab things. And as they're trying to grab things, when they don't have that drug, they're going to act a different way. And so then you start to act crazy.
Okay, Miss Certified Nurse, what's your thoughts about that one?
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing I can really say. It's
right.
It's all in your brain, and like he says, the synapses, if they don't connect, then you're sick. Like if they're not clicking and connecting. And that's what it does. That's what, especially, I think I spoke about when I was using methamphetamine. I've had a severe brain injury since 2015. So then I started using in 2017, and my brain started like clicking. Like it had never clicked before. Like,
Excuse me, I'll be right back.
like it was just, I could work harder, I could work longer, and I was just like,
I remember you telling me that. Yeah, you was able to go
and that was
longer
super
shifts.
attractive to me, coming from having trouble like finding my words like I am now, or some, like that. Like when I was on meth, it wasn't like that at all. I was just,
different.
I thought I was being super sharp, and to me, I felt like my brain felt normal for the first time in a super long time. And unfortunately, that was really attractive to me.
It kept you on edge, kept you moving. Like you said, it plays with your brain. It plays with your mental a lot. Make you feel. It was one point in time where people had to tell me I did not see myself as losing weight. But every time I went around somebody, boy, you losing weight. Boy, in my mind, I'm like, man, no, I ain't. I'm eating just fine. I was good. But that's when it plays with your mind. You thinking you straight, man. But the people on the outside can really look at you like, they can see something that's going wrong deeper than him just drinking beer. It's deeper than that. It's getting deeper. So, Daniel, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, man.
Mental health.
I can relate to exactly what you're saying, man. I used to work at a hotel.
Ooh, yikes.
And I would just get, like, after rehab, I would usually work for the same owner at different hotels, whatever. Wherever there was an opening, he'd get me in. So in rehab, I'd always be working out, eating healthy, whatever, So you look good for a certain amount of time. And then after I was employed for a hotel for a while, and after a relapse, I was addicted to heroin. So once, I became fully hooked, and then I start losing weight and stuff like that. So this girl at the front desk one day, she says, "Man, you're looking skinny." So all my muscle depleted, cheeks were sinking in, and I was just one big walking red flag, man. And like at that moment, man, I was like, fuck, they know, you know what I mean? And then so to mask that shame and all that, I just kept getting more high and more high, man. I was like, fuck it, I'm deep now, I'm balls deep now. So I can definitely relate to that, man.
Well, what are some of the long-term consequences of addiction on individuals and the society?
Loss of family, loss of life. I know that I lost my son. I had gone to prison. I lost my family. My family adopted my son. They don't let me see him. And that's another journey for music for me. It can permanently really hurt a bridge. It can really, the term burning a bridge, it really can do that. It's crazy.
Man, stay strong, bro. Stay strong. What you are doing right now, man, you're doing exactly, whether, I know it hurts you not seeing your child, but in the long run, what you're doing will pay off. It will pay off. I promise you, man. It might not look as if it is, but when it do, man, boy, that smile on your face, I can see you messaging me on, I can see it, man. I can't wait to see that message, man, because I know. And that show, when you tell me to come to that show, hey, I'm gonna tell my job, I'm using my PPTO. Hey, I need 3 PPTO days because I'm gonna go watch my boy perform. So, man, it all play out. It will all play out. Yeah, Daniel, Jennifer, y'all thoughts about that? Anything? Okay, we're gonna go right along. Yeah, y'all can talk amongst each other. Okay, we got 8. What are some of the underlying causes and risk factors for addiction in America?
Trauma.
Very much so.
And can you expound on that a little bit?
Well, for me, my trauma was there when I was little, but then the first day I used, my trauma started. Again, it started and it was heavy for a really long time. And not only when I was in that situation did I have to use, because as Boosie knows, I was humanly trafficked. I was locked in my closet, all of those things. And so mine became a forceful type of thing. But of course I used it on my own too. I'm not just, I mean, I take that for sure. I don't just blame it on that person. But yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Daniel, you want to expand on that a little bit with the trauma situation or the underlying factor, you know?
Yeah, trauma. I mean, I have no experience in that, but I mean, I know like verbal abuse.
Right.
That's definitely a huge
Right.
thing. Just getting bullied, you know, just getting bullied and man, just not having like a strong support at home, you know.
Right. I can expand on that, and I'm gonna let Richie go after me. One thing that we like to miss out on, and sometimes don't talk about, is interpersonal. And what I mean by interpersonal is, I mean by being into it with your boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, getting into fights with family members. Those factors there involves emotion. It's a lot of time when we get in our emotions. You know, when we get into it with our girlfriend, them breakups. It be times with them breakups and be like, man, fuck it, let me go buy something. I am not lying. We all done been there. We don't care how you done been sober for 3 years. That girl done walked out. Y'all done had that big breakup. She done called the police. You done left, and you know, just certain things like that. Emotions brings out the worst and the good in a lot of people. And if we don't know how to wrap them emotions up and tie them down, you know, that sometimes a relapse happen when them interpersonal things come in play. So that's a big thing.
I actually had this happen to me this Saturday, actually, maybe Friday night, Saturday. So one of my super good friends, I suspect that, and I've only suspected it, that he's acting different, he's looking different, that kind of thing. And I've asked him and it's a no. And he just, I don't know if he just got really angry. I don't know. But my phone started blowing up and it was, I don't trust you and you this and you that and you. And I was like, whoa. My first thought was, oh my gosh, did I really just do that to somebody? And I'm like, then I start like re-looking at messages and thinking, gosh, what did I say? What did I do? And it was just, he finally called me last night and said, I've been using. And I said, I kind of figured. Everybody changes. And I knew that when he came at me like that, I was like, whoa, you don't trust me. I haven't heard that since I was high. What do you mean you don't trust me?
That's great.
But, in that sense, you have to really learn, and it's taken years. You have to really learn, like, that's at that very moment, that has nothing to do with you. That's the illness. That's what's going on in their life. That's what it is.
So from my end, I would say abandonment, because 9 times out of 10, you take a drug addict, you ask them about their family life, and they didn't have one. I know growing up, my mom would leave me at the house, go to the bar, or she'd leave me in a car in a diaper. That's on record. Abandonment has a big key factor of that risk, because what do you do with drugs? You don't do them by yourself. You go and do it with your drug addict friends. Why? Because they're going to be there for the drug. Abandonment for me was a big key factor because I based my whole life off of it. I didn't have family. friends that were sober didn't want to be around me, but the ones that were doing drugs were right there for me. So I was like, all right, I'd rather have you in my life. I'll call you my brother. Why? Because we're doing drugs together. And that abandonment issue, when you finally find that group of people that really want to stick, which is normally a drug addict, they have their problems with abandonment as well. So then, boom, abandonment for me was like the big risk. It was like the big like thing in my life, and I had to see past that and realize that I only have me in this life, and I don't worry about anybody else really. I don't have to, because I got me.
Absolutely. What roles do prescription drugs play in the crisis in America?
Everything. It's a lot of the times it's oxys or perks, and it's not a mental, I mean, it is mental addiction, but that's a physical addiction. So these doctors, you go hurt your back, they're like, I'll write you a script of some oxys. Let me put you on that. And then you get so deep into it that when you try to get off of it, you can't. And then what are they going to try to do? They're going to wean you off. And then what do? They go put you on Suboxone. You're still doing drugs. You're still in that, you know?
Still one more thing to get off of.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody at work one day, and they were talking about perk 30s. Now, you know, I hear them a lot. You know, I used to be in the music and all that stuff like myself. You know, I love music, fan of music. I just love it. But I was talking about, I said, a lot of these rappers talking about these perk 30s, and, you know, they getting them fake fentanyl, them pressed, you know, them fake pressed perk 30s, and they dying off of them. I was telling them that my thing was, back in the day, I was on them hydros. I used to love to get a couple of hydros, you know, a couple cans of beer, smoke a blunt, you know, something like that. But they said these perk 30s get you high. And I was like, half the time, if they taking them or getting them, they're not real anyway, half the time. Unless they actually go to the doctor and see somebody get them pills from the doctor, half the time you probably taking pure fentanyl, that which go kill you as soon as you take them. Or so... Yeah, them prescription drugs, man. And them Xanax. I don't even want to talk about the stories about Xanax.
Those are the don't give a fuck drug.
Man, I was on them Xanax for one season, and then no more.
Yeah.
I lost my car for about 3 days. Didn't know where I put it.
Walking out with TVs like, this is mine.
Didn't know where I put my car, man. I was like, nah, this right here is not for me.
That's that pill courage.
What are hydros, bro?
Go ahead.
Hydros are they prescription? Yeah, they for pain.
Hydrocodone.
Yeah, oxycontins and stuff like that. Them
okay, hydrocodone. Okay,
the pill form. Yeah, and I was getting, I think, the hydro 10s, and I would take a few of them, probably smoke a blunt, probably drink 2 tall cans of beer and just mellow out. But they saying right now they perk 30s, man. That's what everybody want. And so I'm like, nah.
It's so twisted. I'm sorry, man. It's so twisted that there's people out there that create these things and they call them blues, right? They call them perks. Like, it's sick and twisted, dude. Like, we used to do the real ones back in the day, right? But the way they're masking it and selling them for damn near 50 cents here in Arizona, it is ridiculous, bro. I just can't believe that shit.
Yeah, man. I know a lot of people that come that way to cop up. I used to know a lot of people. They'll come get them down there from where y'all at and bring them down here to Arkansas and hit the streets hard with them. You know what I mean? Just up the price on them, man. And that's what they was doing exactly when the X pill epidemic hit. You know, but 15 years ago, real bad. I mean, when they first came out in Arkansas, man, everybody was going to get them, paying almost $25, $30 a pill for one pill. And they hit the town and hit the streets real hard. So, yeah.
When the first time I was in treatment, it was right before I went to treatment. You know, I had to go to a doctor, and they had to say, especially with my seizures, they had to say, yes, you can go to treatment, blah, 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 whatever. So I had big, giant sores. I was banging my dope. I had just nasty sores everywhere. And it was a really bad infection. And my family already knew I was already set to go to treatment in like a week or something. So I had to go to this doctor. And he looks right at me and he goes, so are you going to go to treatment? I said, yeah, that's why I'm here. Da, 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 da. And he gave me something for my sores, and then he looked right at me and he goes, "Do you want me to give you some Adderall?" And I looked at him like, "For what?" And he's like, "Oh, it'll help you till you go to treatment." I'm like, "Are you stupid?" No.
Let me get up and stay up.
Wow.
Like, and I told him I told him I was actively using, like, and he wanted to just pile on some Adderall. What? Come on, dude.
That's crazy.
How does addiction affect individual families and communities?
Tears them apart.
The ripple effect. So in one of my classes when I was in prison, we had to learn that it wasn't just us that we were hurting. It's a ripple effect. So we could do something, and not only does it hurt our mom, but it would hurt the friends of our moms or the reputation of our dad or our family itself. Because think about it, they base TV shows off it. Look at Shameless. One person does something wrong, now the whole family's bad. Or, it's having a drug addict in the family is the status quo of America. It makes the family look bad. It can really hurt your whole entire family if one person is doing wrong and getting caught. Because then they're like, how are they raised?
How does the stigma surrounding addiction hinder recovery and support in America?
I mean, you said it yourself. Rappers rap about it like it's okay. I mean, they're talking about lean and perks and
Popping perks, and it's cool, and they give you stamina and this and that.
I mean, we have whole prescription commercials. Like America bases their economy off of drugs. I mean, a perk 30 is almost as good as heroin.
Yeah.
And they push it like it's okay. Sad.
Well, I've noticed that not now, I can't say across the board, but there are some pre-workout mixes that I have looked up that have amphetamine components in them. So that's why everybody's so jazzed up when they go to the gym. They're having a pre-workout, and a lot of it is garbage. Like there's synthetic hair or synthetic methamphetamine right in it. And that's why when you take pre-workout, you're like, ah! Well, like, nobody wants to be like, I don't want to be like that. Not anymore.
Well, we're going to end this broadcast, man. Thank you, guys. Y'all are my family, and I know I can always count on y'all. And I know sometimes that y'all, we all busy. We work. We got family. So, and I know y'all be busy sometimes, and I know y'all sometimes can't make it. But today I would love to appreciate you guys for tuning in with me. I know it's the 4th of July. I wanted to try to do this broadcast a little early so we can jump on it and get it on out the way so we can get to the barbecue or the fish or whatever everybody finna prepare to eat. And,
good, I got oxtails to check.
Oh, man, I need to come over there. I need to come over there. But once again, thank you, Richie, man. Y'all go check him out, Richie Valor. Valor. I'm going to put his link and everything on the back end. Once I finish the broadcast, I'm going to have his link. You can go click on the link and go check him out on Spotify. Daniel, thank you again, brother, man. It's been a blessing you joining the team. And Jen, you already know you the moderator. You the mod.
Oh,
so
Lord.
we go get things cracking, man. Thank you all. Thank you. Enjoy your day, y'all.
All right, y'all have a good day.
Later.
Happy 4th.
Thank you. Everybody out there, man. Look. I know y'all enjoyed that broadcast because I know damn well I did. And this is what we're going to continue to do. We're going to continue to create something special over here on the Sober Gang Experience podcast. This is what we're doing, man. We have an open panel discussion. So if you would love to be a part of the open panel discussion, I will have my contact information in the description box. So y'all can email me there. And whenever I set up a live stream, you will be notified. But first and foremost, I need you guys to hit that subscribe button right now. It is very important you hit the subscribe button and click the bell. Click the notification bell for all. Click all videos. So you will be getting notified anytime I drop new videos, anytime I go live with my guest speakers. This is what we're doing, everybody. We are creating something special over here. Sober Gang Experience Podcast. Thank you all for everybody who tuned in with me today. Happy 4th of July and stay safe. It's peace and love. Mr. Show Out TV. Yeah. Y'all know how I do. One love, everybody out there. Stay safe. Peace and love. Till next time. Yeah.
Welcome to Mr. Show Out TV Recovery and Addiction YouTube channel, where we hope to inspire those battling addiction. Please subscribe and like the channel. Make sure you click the notification bell to get notified whenever we broadcast. Thank you and enjoy the show. To support the channel, you can send donations to Cash App $Mr. Show Out TV. So please don't wait, subscribe now. Together we can help and give inspiration to millions of people.